Alright, back again, Luke here, and today I thought I'd show you something that I've been working on, this beast in particular. This thing's a monster. If you take a look at it, here's my hand, here's the board. It's about 2.5 feet long, and yeah, it's pretty big. I wound up picking this board up recently, and when I got it, the guy said that it didn't work, and when I got it home, it was apparent that it hadn't been used for a while. It had a lot of rust spots on it, and this capacitor here, which I replaced, was just crushed into the board. So I wound up replacing that, and there's a couple of other capacitors, like these ceramic ones. This one here needs to be replaced. There's another one that's chipped in between here. But I was able to get it to work. So I was pretty pleased about that. One thing about this board, though, is if you take a look over here, this is a 1986 Konami board. And one thing about these early pre-90s or mid-80s boards is that they weren't standard JAMMA. This board actually uses 36 pins instead. So I looked online to see if I could find an adapter for it, and it looked like some shops actually had adapters, but they were sold out and they didn't have any in stock. So being the impatient guy that I am, I kind of grabbed some wire. I found some old board laying around and decided to cut and splice and, you know, solder this beast up. And I wound up using the schematics here for my Astro City. Although I'm using my Blast City here for playing the game, it still has the same outs on it. And I looked online for the board outs here to try and find each wire and, you know, soldered them up individually. It's a lot of work. I think most people wouldn't go through all this hassle. You know, most people would just buy the adapter. But like I said, you know, not having anything in stock and not having any stores really close, just figured I'd give it a shot here. Plus the fact I didn't know if it was going to work or not. Didn't want to spend money on something that maybe didn't work. But one thing to consider if you're thinking about doing something like this is to make sure that when you connect all the wires here, definitely make sure that you have the direction right. So you know which numbers 1 through 36 or 1 through 18, and then on the back side make sure you do it the same way. You know, be 100% positive that you have the wires on, and especially if anything, make sure that the power wires are not mixed up. And with the power wires, for example, also if you have like 5 volts on the parts side here that has all the parts and components, and then you have +5 on the solder side, make sure you put both +5s on there, because if you don't, you'll definitely get some unexpected results. I didn't have any problems wiring this thing up, you know, it just was long and tedious. The biggest problem that I did have towards the end was I got it all wired up, and I plugged it in, and when I did, the picture came on, but it was really dark and wasn't clear at all. And I found out that this board itself, after going back and checking over the wires, it had video green, video red, video blue, and video sync. But the one thing it was missing was a video ground, and or the sync ground. And since the board didn't have the sync ground, I had to go back over here to the JAMMA connector, and I just ran a blue wire here from the regular ground to the video sync ground, and sure enough, was able to get this thing working. You know, it's not the most beautiful looking thing, but it does the job. And you know, I don't have any other 36 pin boards, so for now, maybe later on, maybe I'll pick up a 36 pin edge connector for it, and then I'll have my own little custom adapter. But for right now, it's doing the job, so don't have to worry about it too much. I can just kind of plug it in and play some of that. So that's one thing that I've been working on here. I'll put up some video footage of this game here, you know, in a little bit, but try and save this for later. Don't want to spoil it. But it's a 1986 Konami game. Pretty fun, a little bit challenging, and kind of funny. But the other thing that I'm working on is this. Ta-dum-ta-dum. Yes, it's another SNK Hyper Neo-Geo 64 board. And as you can see down here, this one is Round Trip RV. Now this is a a driving board, and as you might have heard from my last video, and as I found out myself, there's 4 different kinds of boards for the Hyper Neo-Geo 64. One's a fighting board, one's a driving board, the other one's a shooting board, and the 4th one is a Korean board. But the sad part about these things is that you can't interchange these ROMs with different boards. What I mean by that is the driving ROMs can't be interchanged with the fighting board, and the shooting board can't be interchanged with the Korean boards. So there are a couple of games that are driving games that can be used with the driving motherboard here, and there's like 4 fighting games that can be used with the fighting board, and only 1 game that can be used with the shooting board. But the problem that I'm having with this beast here is that I wired it up, you know, hooked it up, turned it on, and it goes into a test mode for network testing, and it will continue to test and look for adapters, and if it doesn't find it, it just keeps going in a loop. It will never start up. So I tried looking online to see what I could find out about this thing. It looks like if you don't have all the connections connected up when you turn it on, it'll just continue to go into test mode. It'll just throw up an error. So what I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna try and wire up a steering wheel and a gear shifter and the pedals for it and see if I can get it running. But the biggest problem that I'm running into right now is I don't have any schematics for this motherboard. I tried to look online, and I tried to find a user's manual and found one that was copied. But the most important page, the one that has all of the different pinouts on it and the wiring diagram, is the most difficult to see. So I can't really do anything with that. So sadly, unless I can come across an original manual for this, I'm going to be in some trouble. And I really want to try and get a user's manual for this. So if anybody knows of a place where I can get a user's manual for Round Trip RV, that would be awesome. Maybe I can get this working. I did pick up a, try and turn this thing around here. This is a force feedback steering wheel. It's for a PC, so, and it's USB, but I wanted to use this to try and hook up to this board here. But that is going to take some time, and like I said, unless I can find the manual, I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon. But another kind of rare and not so common Hyper Neo-Geo 64 game is this one. Dun-dun-dun. This is Beast Busters, and Beast Busters is a pretty cool looking shooting game. It looks really similar to the earlier versions of House of the Dead, but once again, trying to find this board itself, or the ROM itself, is pretty hard. In general, you rarely see Beast Busters for sale. But what's more difficult than that is trying to find the motherboard for Beast Busters. So, because Beast Busters uses guns, I'm assuming it's really similar to the, what is it, Terminator arcade. I'm not sure if this one's light gun related or if it runs on pots. I'm pretty sure it runs on pots, but I can't be 100% positive. But I'm assuming that when I get, you know, if I get the motherboard for this, I'm going to run into the same problem as I did with this, being that if I don't have all the guns hooked up and I don't have everything wired up, then it's probably not going to work. And if it's just a pot situation, you know, where it just runs on pots, then that'll be not a big deal, you know, not such a problem. But finding the board, that's going to be a challenge. So that is what I am up to as of recently. Just trying to, you know, wire stuff up, solder stuff up, figure stuff out. Just doing all sorts of stuff. But just wanted to give you another little update here as to what's going on in Luke's man cave. And yeah, hopefully I'll get a chance to show you some video footage of this beast. I don't know when, but it'd be nice sometime in the near future. For this one here, this one I'll be able to put up a video here quite soon. So, but yeah, that's about all for me for right now. And like always, I'll put up another video here soon. So, thanks for watching.